am going to go through step by step how you would respond as a middleman to an opportunity. Get ready. The example I have for everyone here is around waste management. It may not be construction per se, but I'm going to share this with you all. First thing that you have to do when it comes to this middleman approach is you have to go on SAM to find the opportunity. And what I want you all to know, instead of always rushing to get set-asides, you already have a set-aside. So you go here on Sam.Gov, Contract Opportunities, Advanced Search, okay? So as you're here, set aside small business, total and partial. You can further drill down, but I'm doing this so you can kind of take a look and see what is here. And you notice the dumpster removal services, which is what we're going to take a look at. Because one of the things when it comes to the middleman approach, many will say like, oh, I'm just connecting the two. I ain't going to do anything and then I'm out. Okay, good luck with that. That's not how it works. You still have to provide added value. You still are managing the work. You are invoicing the work. For instance, one of my students, he won a contract for replacing a cement slab. He outsourced it, he subcontracted it, he middlemaned it, whatever you want to call it. Did he provide that work? No, but he still had to communicate, organize, project manage. He has to submit the invoice. So this isn't a set it and forget it. This ain't no throwback to Ron Popeil. If it were that easy, then why isn't Lockheed Martin doing that? So here, what's important, you have more than 10 days between when it was released, when it was due, and it's a total small business set aside. What that means is although this is for dumpster waste removal services, waste management, who was once featured on Undercover Boss, they can't bid on this because they're not a small business. Also, it's very rare that you see the VA offer a total small business set aside. So let's dig deep into this. So from here, they talk about the contractor must own, operate, and/or lease facilities. That means you can subcontract. You can middleman. You can do that for something like this. Also, I want to make sure you all can see this. I don't think you can see the other attachment. Just one second. So this right here outlines what they're looking for. So let's just kick things off because I'm always asked, well, what do you do? So you're going to fill this out. You're going to fill out 17 alpha. You can put your cage code or your UEI. You're going to put your business name, business address, your phone number. This one's good. They put the UEI there. So you're going to put your cage code here, your phone number here, your UEI here, and your business name and address there. What you also do, and you can see the instructions inform us to do that, you shall complete the SF-1449. You also will need to sign 30 Alpha, complete 30 Bravo, and complete 30 Charlie. Are we all clear on that? Everybody who's watching right now, are you all clear on that? So one thing to note, anytime that you notice an SF-1449 has already been digitally signed by the point of contact, you're gonna have to do two things. Either you're going to need to print this in order to sign it, okay? Or what you can do is, what I like to do is I'll take a screenshot, just doing it quickly for sake of, so I'll have this screenshot here. And then what I will do is I will take this, I don't know if the screenshot's still showing because of the whole window thing. Let me show you, just a moment. So I took a screenshot and what I will do is then convert this to, let me go back, to a PDF. It's right there. I'll export this as a PDF. Then I will reopen it and then I'm able to edit it in PDF because otherwise the document's going to be locked and you're not going to be able to edit it. And so in case some of you are like, what are you even talking about? Just give me a second. Bam. So this is an image of it and then I can easily go to edit, taking note of all the information in here. And then bam, now I can easily add text. I can add my signature and all the other information. It's really simple. I love having Adobe Pro, but everybody's different. Do what you need to do, but at the end of the day, you don't follow their instructions, you won't get a contract, and they're gonna be very annoyed, okay? So if you're someone who's like, hey, I'm not really technologically savvy, you gotta figure it out. This is not the time to say that. And I get it. I didn't learn this overnight, but this is a requirement to win a contract, to practice the middleman. You know, it's these hard things that lead to payoff. Next thing we need to know is what are the requirements? Because remember, middleman, oh, it's so easy. You just bring these people together and ooh, okay. They're letting you know that you have to fill this form out right here and fill in the price, cost schedule, and return with attached quote. Okay, great. What I also like to do, and this is really important, is you want to see what is the evaluation criteria. What is it? In other words, how are they going to figure out who they are going to give this to? Because remember, they've already narrowed it down to small businesses. Practically everyone watching the live, more than likely a small business, and you qualify for this. So what we have here is it says, I'm going to read it to you, because I want you to really understand this. The federal government is very concise as far as what they're looking for. Not always, but often. The government will award a contract resulting from this solicitation to the responsible offerer whose offer conforming to the consolidation. So the solicitation will be most advantageous to the government, price and other factors considered. The following factors will be used to evaluate offers: technical and past performance. Technical, past performance. The government will evaluate offers for award purposes by adding the total price for all option years. That means this is a multi-year contract. Let's say worst case, you make $500 a month for 5 years. By the time you get things rolling with this type of a contract, the amount of time you spend on this might only be a couple hours a month. And I'll get to your questions in a moment because I see these great questions, okay? These are awesome. So now we know we have to send a form 1449. We have to give them pricing. And look what they did for us. The pricing is right here. And this is also another time where you're gonna have to take the screenshots or you print the PDF and fill in. If you're gonna print this and fill this in, this is what I would suggest to you. You print it or you take photos on your phone and convert it to PDF. You really don't wanna write anything in because it just makes you look antiquated and they may misinterpret your handwriting. So basic requirements thus far. And they informed us that you just have to provide the technical and past performance. And I know what some of you are thinking. Well, how am I supposed to have past performance? I've never done this before. I thought you said that we're doing the middleman. We are, but I'm getting there. Next, you want to look at the instructions because once again, they outline to you, here's what we want. It's like you hire someone to paint. I'm sure nobody here has ever said, yeah, come in and just paint whatever. You paint the wall, whatever you want to paint it. That's cool. I'll wait. Nobody does that. So the same thing goes with this. You would provide guidelines like, hey, I would really like, here's the color I want. And it would be great if you could finish it as soon as possible because I'm going to have people over for a birthday party, for Labor Day, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa. And, do you want me to move the furniture? Do you guys move the furniture? You have parameters, you have expectation. The government's the same. So it said, set aside for small business. They give you the NAICS code, 541519. Then it says, submit signed and dated offers to the office in the solicitation, meaning the name, contact information that's on this PDF, as well as make sure it matches Sam.Gov. And then it says offers may be submitted on the SF 1449, letterhead stationery, or otherwise specified. As a minimum, you must do the following. The minimum: solicitation number, time specified in the solicitation for receipt of offers, name, address, phone number, a technical description of the items being offered in detail to evaluate the compliance. This may include literature or other documents, terms of express warranty, price and discounted price, remit to address, a complete copy of your reps and FARs, acknowledgement of solicitation amendments, past performance, recent and relevant contracts. And then it says, if you're not filling out the SF 1449, this is what you do. Period of acceptance, product samples, multiple offers. You are encouraged to submit multiple offers presenting alternatives. So let's break this down because that was a lot before I even write anything, because you heard what they said. They were like, you can use the SF 1449, you can use letterhead. And in case you're like, letterhead, y'all, it's a Word document and you throw your logo in the middle. If you don't have a logo, just type your name in the middle and put your cage code. You don't have this, it doesn't have to look so high-end and produce. All that matters is you're giving them what they asked for. And they said, this is what we want. So before even putting any of this together, before even opening a Word document, you are going to need 3 price quotes. You're going to need 3 price quotes for this work, because you may even think to yourself, well, we haven't even talked about what we have to do. Right, because it's not about what has to be done, it's what is your likelihood of winning. Right now, I would say my likelihood of winning, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. 55% perhaps. And also remember, there's only one attachment. Is it 58 pages? Yes, but this is a multiple year contract. Is it worth it to read 58 pages to have ongoing revenue coming in every month? I mean, I think the answer is yes. Here on page 4 is when they go into the description of the services. So this is in essence for 5 years. It's a base plus 4, which is 5 years. And then they break down what they want. So this is where those different kind of middleman subcontracting outsourcing techniques come in. What you would need to do is to capture what they want. So in Charleston, South Carolina, they have 500 tons of waste annually, and that's just an estimate. And this is what they're looking for: container, vehicles, scheduling, collection, receiving, processing. It gets very detailed. Disposal, manifest. They want to make sure people are trained, response times and telephone support. And when you dig deep in here, they actually will penalize you and remove money. Here it is right here. If there's an issue, if waste is not completed on schedule for a 3rd time, you're allowed 2 discrepancies, AKA 2 strike. 3rd time, look what happens. Deduction of 2%. Y'all want to lose 2%? Because what happens is we all rush. I've done this. Oh my God, I got to write this. Well, how can you write something if you don't even know what they want? You have to understand what they're looking for. Because if not, you're going to submit this, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste their time, and then you're going to be pissed off because you lost. And I'm trying to help you out right now. What is needed is you're going to need a minimum of 3 quotes from waste management companies. Chances are the company Waste Management is probably the go-to, but there's companies like Arrow, there's companies like Republic. So what is needed on your end before you can even do pricing, you have to identify at least 3, if possible, waste management companies who are able to do this for you. And not only for them to be able to do this for you, but you'll have to provide them the information so that they can give you the pricing. And that's the whole premise of the whole middleman, right? And here's another strategy, a bonus Kizzy strategy. You don't just give them the number, hey, take this PDF and tell me what it's gonna cost. It's like giving somebody the old maid card. Nobody wants that. So instead, this is where sales, client relations, and being able to impact and influence people comes in handy. So the bonus strategy is you cut and paste what information that would be valuable to them in a Word document, and also you're going to need to give them the list of the things that they have to give you pricing for. Now be aware, you're going to want to approach companies that are like a big company, because if you approach another small business who's in the waste management field, chances are they're going to bid on them. So these are things to be aware of, because again, if you just jump to a proposal, you may not know what it takes to win. You may put stuff in there that you don't even need. That's why we haven't even opened the Word document yet. Because remember, the bare minimum, pricing, past performance. And then you also ask them, can you give me 3 clients of y'all's? Can you just give me their name and phone number and what you're doing for them? Like, this is a beautiful one for middleman. For the sake of time, number 1, you're going to fill out does anybody know what we're going to fill out first and foremost? This, right? The 1449. You got to fill that out. Next, this can be your letterhead. Insert logo or name and cage. If you don't have one, it's just simple. Make one up. Next, this can be your letterhead. What I'm doing is cutting and pasting from the solicitation. I never like to mess up any of the numbers. And I'll fix the font. We could see your pleased to respond to, this is my company. Solicitation blank for, I'm using their language. Required as requested. Requested, or you can say required. And then I would put in your Kissy Parks, president, your PC, and you put your cage, UEI, This offer is good for 90 days and we accept and will adhere to all of the requirements. Okay. I like Times New Roman because it's easy. 12 point. Then what I like to do, so you can see, right? Because remember, they said you just have to provide the bare minimum, right? So I would say probably before this, we will lease services from, I'm just going to say waste management and our past performance from waste management, and then say something about them who has been in the waste management business for, I had no idea, I'm just going to say for over 50 years. Our past performance includes, would put name, task, dates, and maybe like phone number. Okay, so I'm populating this, right? Now what I'm going to do is, because I started writing, right? I need to go back to the PDF to make sure I put more things in. So we wanted to go to instructions. I just realized something we need to put in here. Just a minute. We need to add, I would put like, we're a small business, put your website, phone number. I'm just putting this in here. I'm not using waste management. I'm just giving an example. So please don't come to me about this. I'm just giving an example. I don't know how long they've been in business. This is just for the sake of this exercise. Okay, I'm going back to the PDF, so you got to trust me. Okay, so they said for 30 days. Now they did require, and then what I do is I just reorganize it. Because what's important is we're getting all the information in here and then we just reorganize it like Tetris. I want to point out a few things. You'll notice it says a technical description. This is what you ask for when you contact 3 companies. Remember, middleman, they're the expert. They're the ones doing it. You got to get all the information from you. You get the information and then you act. You get this information and you act. And that's why I'm going through this, because I want you to understand that in so many ways, this isn't that hard, right? What you're also going to need is you're going to need to identify and ask them, is there any kind of warranty? Maybe ask them, do you guys offer any discounts because it's the federal government? And then if your address is different than your mailing address. Now it says a completed copy of the reps inserts in the FAR. For that, they're located in your workspace. You log into Sam.gov, you go to your workspace, and you go to your entity and you just download it. It's a PDF. Or you can fill out, let me see if they included it in here. Or you can fill out the reps inserts in their attachment if you want. It's so much easier just to download them from your workspace in Sam.gov. You ask them to give you a technical description of how they're going to do all of those things. You're going to ask them for pricing and you're going to ask them for references. You want them to give you at least 3. And you want them to give you the name, phone number, or email, the task, and the dates of the references. That's what you need. Because all you have to do is then take that information and put it in letterhead. You just put it here. If you want to add a cover sheet, you can add a cover sheet. I mean, this is bare bones. You don't have to add a cover sheet. If you want to add a cover page, you can add a cover page. But what'll happen is as you populate this, it will be set up like a letter. I wouldn't send something that looks like this. This is just us making it. One exception, for this right here, number 8, when you download it, it's a PDF and you're gonna submit that as a separate attachment. And all you have to do is just put it in the letter. So you can do that. Then you also put our reps and FARs. Our reps and FARs are attached as a PDF. There's no amendments. Let me go back here. Let me look. Nope, no amendments, nothing here whatsoever. The point of contact is in Augusta, by the way. Let's go back to the PDF to see if we missed anything, and then I'm gonna go to questions. So remember, the pricing is in here, right? They outline, they're like, hey, give us pricing because this is for 5 years. And all you do is insert the information in here. That's all you got to do. That's why I put in the Word document, pricing follows. So then what you can do is you take that Word document, you take this, and then when you finish with it, you save it as a PDF, and then you take the other PDF and you add it, you consolidate it. Ask somebody for help, but it's really simple because they've given you what they're looking for price-wise, right? They outlined everything. You just have to fill in the numbers. And these are numbers that you will get from the vendor. Then you add on your profit. Could be 20%, could be 50%. You could add 100%. Keep in mind, they said it's technical and past performance. That's what they're looking for. Now, if your price is 50% higher than everybody else's and they're using taxpayer dollars, it makes it a little challenging to then say, yeah, let's go with them. They're charging way more money. But remember the other thing they said, and that is they said, we want multiple pricing options. So if you want, and in that way, you may have 3 versions of that. Here's option 1, and then just explain it. Our price follows, pricing option 1 will meet the requirement. Option 2 includes an environmentally friendly blank, blank, blank. Pricing option 3 includes blah, 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 right? So then it's like, it allows them to pick. The thing is, you want to be able to justify why you have these price options. You download the reps and certs and you send that to the federal government. Just your reps and certs is part of the requirement here. So for this, the requirement is, let me give you the whole list. Solicitation number, we already did that, right? It was at the beginning of the letter. Time specified for receipt of offers. You can put in the deadline of when this is due. Your name, address, phone number. Actually, we do need to add that. Okay, great. So on here, I usually do name, KPC, address, phone number, website, due blank, August 2023. Then you just go back and make sure, and you just go through. This is your checklist. Technical description, the other company has to provide. Terms of any express warranty, ask them. Discounted items, ask them. If your address is different than the mailing address, let them know. Your reps and certs, you download them or complete it in the document here. Past performance, you ask the vendor. And you're already doing the 1449. One thing that I do like to do is in pretty much most of our responses, I like to and we accept and will adhere to all the requirements and we agree with all terms, blah, 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 blah. I like to put that in there because sometimes they'll come back and say, well, do you agree with this clause that's in there? I mean, you never know. They ask different questions, okay? So you can already see without having the pricing and the information from the middleman, you still can start putting together your proposal, but there isn't really much else you can do, right? How are you doing? Quick question. Do I need to have money up front for my contract to be pursued or have a service agreement with sub to where the first. So in terms of this opportunity for waste management or waste removal, and this is for the VA, by the way, dumpster waste removal services, you would pay them after they perform the services. So after you get invoiced, you will pay them. But keep in mind, for this opportunity, you get money removed if you have 3 strikes, 3 errors. And that's something you'll have to communicate with your sub because what if they don't know? And then here you are losing money. How can you find contracts that are short-term? Let's say the government just needs a particular project done just once. How do you find those contracts? What would you say? What would it say in the solicitation? There's no way to determine. You have to open all the attachment. This is a game of reading. This is a game of searching. This is a game of hunting because the reward is so great. That's why Lockheed Martin, Boeing, SpaceX, Amazon, Microsoft, they all are government contractors. Virgin, it's so lucrative. But in order for the payoff to happen, this is where that sweat equity comes in. It's going through understanding what does it take to win. Going through the steps of finding that middleman to do the job. Because the thing with the middleman is, where are you without the middleman? You are the middleman per se, but that expert, because it's the approach is you have this expert. I kind of look at the expert as a middleman. Okay, I've been registered since April. I have these mental blockers. Hearing you explain the middleman process stays easy, thank you. Anytime. It really is. It's really so much easier. Is there time and energy you have to put into it? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's for 5 years. Let's say you make $2,000 a month for a company who's out there doing waste management. And remember, somebody who I mentor, he has a contract just like this with the company Waste Management. And they have to go, I think it's some kind of a park, and they have to go in there multiple times a week and take out the trash. Here's the thing. When summertime came, the amount of trash increased. So that's something else. That would be something to add into your pricing. Okay, what section would detail how much of the work could be subbed out or the limitation of sub work? You have to go through the solicitation to see if it lists anything. Because at the end of the day, Matthew, for something like this, dude, you could bid this. You could totally bid this, you know? Like, remember, my student does this right now. Right now, take a couple more questions. If I start out with a new LLC, or the chances of landing a contract? It's up to your mindset. I mean, I have a student, Steven, he won a sizable contract with North Dakota, South Dakota. I have the interview on my channel. I can't remember which Dakota. It's in essence his first contract win, and he won. It happens all the time. As long as you can think it and you believe it, it will happen. So if you think and believe, oh, why would they want to go with me? Why don't they just go with Waste Management or Arrow or Republic? Well, it's a small business set aside. The federal government has a mandate to spend 25% of their budget with small businesses. And why shouldn't they go with you? You know, so it's all about your mindset. Regardless of the duration of the proposal, the basics are the basics. You must understand what it takes to win. You got to understand that. And then you decide, is it worth you responding? That's it. Period. That's it. Join the Facebook group if you haven't already. I'll make sure you're admitted. And so y'all are amazing. Everything is possible, y'all.